Hey guys, I wanted to do this video here just talking about Spider-Man now that Marvel has Spider-Man in the MCU. I specifically wanted to talk about Spider-Man and the Agents of Shield. If you've been watching, if you watch a little bit of the animated, the Ultimate Spider-Man um, that's on TV right now, the cartoon, you've seen that Spider-Man is in, he does do a lot with the Shield guys, and he works with Coulson, and I think he worked a lot with Coulson before, actually, Clark Gregg came back as Coulson in actual Agents of Shield. So it's definitely, I think that it would be a cool way to have. To kind of get Spider-Man. I mean, first of all, to casting, I'd like to see them get some actor, some young kid who's very very young. Cast him like very young kid, like just entering high school type thing. Almost, I know in the comics in Amazing Fantasy 15 and Spider-Man #1, Stan Lee had originally intended Peter to be 16. 15 age like that. So I definitely think that they should go and find a kid who's about 12 years old, 10, anywhere from 10 to 14, and someone who's a little bit younger but looks a little bit older, but not too much, and kind of get that and get a excuse me, an unknown actor who could really do the role right, and that they could not only could he do the role right, the main thing is getting him young and unknown actor. That way they could get him and contract him for life, get him for the next 20, 25 years, 30 years, and set him up for a million appearances. Like, I'm serious, like 20 years I think is definitely, hook him up, get him all contracted, control everything, and pretty much just have your Spider-Man set for the next 20 years and have that locked and loaded, and then you could change it. You could do whatever you want with this character, with this actor as Spider-Man. He could play whatever. And the reason why I say like a million appearances, just so that you could have him in not only all the movies, but have him in the shows, and in Agents of Shield, have him in the Netflix. And appear in the Netflix, especially in the Netflix stuff, because the Netflix stuff is all taking place right downtown Manhattan, right in New York City. Daredevil's in New York City. He's fighting the Kingpin for God's sakes, which is a Spider-Man villain, before he ever was a Daredevil villain. So, having him there would definitely be cool. Even I'd love to see before they even, if they could, revamp a few episodes before they finish them. If they add like little spider webs hanging off places. Daredevil does a leap off and the camera pans out, and there's like have like a digitally add spider webs hanging off the rooftops. As he's running along in the last few episodes. I think that would be cool to see in the Daredevil series. Now, maybe a bit late because it's coming out very soon, but who knows? Maybe they could add stuff like that. And also, having him actually appear in S.H.I.E.L.D., I think would be a cool idea. Now, the one thing that I would say, the difference between in the cartoon, he kind of goes to school, at the same school with S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff, and that is an interesting idea. If he could kind of go to school, with Coulson, if they had like a S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy type thing, and he goes to school there. But I think that if you do that, then you kind of take away the whole, then he's only there with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. You don't have him that relationship with Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy and all that. You gotta lose that aspect of it. But the more along the lines of, Spider-Man has always been one of those characters who, you in the comics, like if he sees Captain America or Iron Man, on the news fighting someone, he'll zip out and swing out there and help and stuff like that. So I definitely want to see him do that with Daredevil and the Shield guys. Now, I know the Shield guys are not always in New York, and they don't spend much time really in New York, but definitely I think having him for a few missions could definitely be a very cool story to actually to see and to watch go forth. Having him having kind of Coulson train Peter, especially if they get him. They really cast him young, and even a little bit younger than like 14, 15 kind of age, and someone who just looks that very young, and they could actually get for very cheap. So someone that they could afford to have him in the movies, afford to have him in the TV show, and have him go back and forth. So cast him based off of a TV, as if you're going to get him for the TV role, but have him appear in the movies and have him do all kinds of stuff. So I definitely think that's the way that they should go. That way they don't have to recast him for the next 20, 30 years, whatever, however long, that they can have him for longer than they have than they have plans for. I definitely think that's the way I'd like to see them go, and have him for at least 15 to 20, cast him for like 15 to 20 years with a crap load of of appearances everywhere. Even if he doesn't appear all the time, I definitely think there are scenarios with Shield, that wouldn't really. If they're going off somewhere in the middle of the desert, well, Spider-Man's not that much help if he can't swing around on stuff, I mean, yeah, he's strong and all that, but I definitely think it would be cool to see, Skye learning to use her powers, and, with all the Inhuman stuff coming up, having also Spider-Man in the mix, and having, a young Peter Parker learning to use his powers too, or a young Peter Parker who, if they already established, because a lot of people don't want to hear the origin story again, which I think is okay. You just do like one of those Marvel comic books, those Marvel Prelude comic book, MCU Prelude for it, and there you go. That's your origin. Then you get straight into it from there, and so people can just pick up the comic book if they want to. So I definitely think that's the way to go for that. But having a young Spider-Man who kind of knows a little bit about his powers, to teach, to kind of help. Skye, Daisy Johnson, go through, what she's going through with her powers, whenever someone does something, some villain, and they're trying to get some villain, have Peter, swing on by and help them for an episode. You could have Fitz and Simmons, Fitz and Simmons work with Peter on his web shooters, I definitely think having the physical web shooters is definitely the way to go, because like Spider-Man, like Stan says, there's no better. It's very easy to just all of a sudden give him a problem that, oh my God, he's out of web shooter. So I think that can be very cool to see. Have scenes with Peter and Simmons working on his Peter and Fitz working on his web shooters. I think that would be a very cool thing to do. To see happen, things like that. I just definitely want to see him just all over the place, and have him be this one character that kind of takes, connects the entire universe, connects the whole thing. And you could have him, you could have, Iron Man stories or other character storylines, let's say, I don't know, they're doing, trying to think of the characters that are coming around. You're having another movie, another Iron Man movie, another Captain America movie that's in New York, but you don't want to put him in there. Just give him a story with the Shield guys, and he's gone off doing something there, and that's why he's not around to help. I think it definitely having him all over the place and bouncing all over from the movies, from his own movies to appearing in Shield and all that. I think that'll be definitely very cool to see. And having him appear in Shield, he would just helping the guys there, so you wouldn't be, you wouldn't have Gwen Stacy or any of them or any of his other casts, the other characters there. Maybe a few of his villains could be used, and stuff like that. So I definitely think it'd be cool to have him, Spider-Man kind of be the one. That kind of connects everything together. I feel like everyone's always worried, that they didn't like it at the beginning of Shield. It was very disconnected from the MCU, and everything felt disconnected all the time. But now that they're doing the Inhuman stuff, it's getting more connected to the whole MCU, and having Spider-Man could really be that one character that kind of connects it all. And having him constantly jumping around and all over the place from each story to story, just helping out, there really doesn't need to be much more explanation than that. So that being said, also definitely, when we got the news that Lady Sif will be coming back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we got that last night, just before the the announcement of Spider-Man back at Marvel, or coming to the MCU, because he's technically not back at Marvel. He's just going to be in the MCU. I was thinking that maybe this villain who gives Sif amnesia, and who she comes to Midgard, to Earth, to fight, could be one of Spider-Man's villain now that they now have access to, because they were keeping it they are keeping it under wraps. We don't know who she's going to be fighting, but I just can't think of characters that could be Lady Sif worthy of fighting, you know. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think they did say that she chases them from Asgard to there, so it probably won't be one of Spider-Man's bad guys. But so stories like that I definitely would want to see, and also having Venom and Carnage, seeing stories where Venom and Carnage, the Venom goo on different villains, not just Eddie Brock, and you could do the Eddie Brock, the Flash Thompson, all that stuff, but different characters, that get pieces of it, and I'd like to see the Venom goo, like, do your Venom and in the movies, and I think that would be a cool character to start off with. Starting off with the first Spider-Man, if they go with Venom, I think it would be very cool, just because he hasn't been done before he's such a popular character, and the way he was done before was pretty much non-existent, so it was so terrible it kind of doesn't count as it was done in the movies. So I think it would be a perfect opportunity to just take the Venom, and just make it perfect. Get your perfect Venom and have him be the villain that starts it off, and then you could have him throughout Shield. You could have the Venom goo type thing appear in different in Shield, and have him, like, I don't know, different other villains get covered in the goo, and they have that power. One thing I was thinking of is Infinity Wars. What if you got Thanos? He has the gauntlet on, and then he confronts. He gets confronted by the Venom and Carnage. And he has this gauntlet. He has the Carnage goo. He has the Venom goo and the gauntlet on all at the same time, and they need to fight this. That would be very cool. And having the black Spider-Man suit in Shield, I think that would definitely be very cool, because if he did get on if they ever do go the Venom route and he puts on the black costume, I think definitely whenever he starts having those doubts of what it is, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, when he starts wondering when he wants to know what it is, and he doesn't have the equipment to work with it, going to the Shield guys would definitely be a great decision. Having him go to Fitz to try and work on it, and seeing Fitz and Simmons analyzing a sample of the Venom goo and see their reaction over that would be so cool to see. I definitely think that'd be very cool to happen. So let me know what you think, guys. Gotta stop before this gets too long there. But what do you think about some of my theories that I've brought up? About if you think that they could maybe get Spider-Man, in Shield somehow, just roles here and there, helping them out with different missions and stuff like that. So let me know what you think. But mainly, one of the theories is what I really hoping that they do is cast a very young actor, young, like 14, anywhere from 14, anywhere around 14. Someone that looks 14, even if he is younger, so that they can have him for the next 20 years. And still have him that age, and actually go through all of high school and all of college with this character via the TV shows, the Netflix series, the movies, and all of that. I definitely think that Spider-Man could be that one character that could just swing on by. I mean, all he needs is the costume, and maybe the swinging, the webs and whatnot, If it costs too much to have him swinging around on the webs all the time in Shield, well, then bring him to a location where where there are no buildings for him to swing around. If he's in the desert, he can still use his web without having to be swinging constantly. I think there's always ways to do that, and with Shield, he could just give him a jetpack, stuff like that. That would change things up. But I definitely can't wait to see Spider-Man swing on by. And let me know what age you think Spider-Man should be, for what age they should cast him, and yeah, what age you think they should get of an actor to play. For me, in my opinion, would be somewhere around 14, 13, around there. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.